Konbanwa, minasan, watashi wa Firefly desu. Oh, and today fuck, that fucked me over. But today I am, as always, together with the lovely broadcast director Stu Band, with my co-commentator Kreden, and of course me with the cringe Japanese intro. Because I already said this is a weep track, and I have to put out my full weep, whatever I'm gonna say today. Hello.
Arigato gozaimashita, Sandro. Konbanwa. Eigo de hai, Nihongo de ie. There we go. That's all the Japanese I can muster for now.
Nice.
Well,
I love it.
So yeah, hey guys, welcome to Suzuka. It's going to be fun. It's the 21st of 26 races this season. Getting really close to the business end now. So set for some good racing and a classic track.
Oh, yes, and I'm very much hyped. It's been last week we skipped it, right? So it's been some time to the last race, and today we're gonna have an interesting set of points because at the top half, it is very dominated by Sunny at the moment, and it's very boring to watch. But guess who's not here today?
Yeah, boy. Yes, Sonny's the one he's basically lit the track on fire in the last few races. He's doing really well. I'm actually going to take this long sentence to pull up his stats. He's won 5 in a row. The record for VLF1 is 6. So if he was here today, he could have equaled that record that Calm set in Season 4 on Haas. He's not going to do that. And that means that the emphasis has to be on Travis, his title rival, who has only won one of the last, I'll say, 12 races. 12! And has scored second place in 7 of those. It's his chance to step up. And you could argue anything less than first in this absence of Sonny will be a letdown for Trav. He needs that win.
Yes, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And not to only forget about that, but we're also, besides P1, we have all the options open now at the bottom as well, or in midfield, more or less to say. Because Zydox is racing, right? If I'm not mistaken. Or is he
not? So he's on Williams this week. He's one of 2 subs. The other sub is Franklin for McLaren.
Nice. That means that if we're gonna see maybe a close battle at the top between Sunny and Sunny already safe, Travis and Zydox, because Zydox, we've seen him always be at the top. Especially in Silverstone, where he was matching Sunny's pace really closely, meaning that if he had similar pace to Sunny, he might be a contester for P1 as well. So Travis might not even have it that easy today, even though Sunny is not here. So that could spice up the fight for P1. If Zydox doesn't pull a Leclerc today, it will be interesting to see.
Yeah, I missed today's Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. But I know the result, and I know one of the drivers who didn't do too well, so I won't say anything more specific in case people are looking for spoiler-free content. I'd be surprised if they are, at least. But yeah, Zydox has been doing really well. He's currently in P9 in the championship, but in the last 6 races, he's twice got P2, and he has 3 times got P3. He's on 106 points, and I think he's scored nearly all of them in the last 6 races. The drivers that are above him are now within touching distance. He's got Charmander within 13 points. He's got Glenn and Somtha within 17. He's got Maka within 29. For most drivers, that's becoming too big a gap towards the end of the season. However, when you look at how Zydox has been scoring, his pace, the fact he's been the only one who can really rein in Sunny alongside Travis, you could argue that he's fighting to try and get P4 off Gaben, or maybe even P3 off Crispy if things go really well for him. Zydox is really set to turn that top end of the field upside down. He's going to be fighting for top 4. I really want to see how that battle goes, because as you said, Pyro, there's so many drivers fighting in that midfield. There's a big clump of about 5 or 6 of them who could be in any order in 6 races' time when the hammer drops.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see. And especially in midfield, like you said, it's going to be interesting to see who will pull up what kind of fight. I know that Japan is favorite for some of our VL drivers, and not that much liked by some others. So it will be interesting to see how that maybe favors in some results that will come out today. But besides that, I mean, I'm just stoked to see like every weekend what race and what results we're gonna see and what the drivers are gonna give us for an interesting fight and battle. Um, I know that the last time we did Japan, was it? Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. It wasn't us, but I know that and back then with the BBU boys, there was one part of the Japanese track. I think it's the R39. Is it called like that? The long one where you have to turn to the left. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, it's somewhere between the two in my head where 130 are and 200 are, and our production director Stillben's telling us 130, so we'll stick by him. Yeah, 130 are.
All right. So for me, that corner is interesting. And you know why? It's because a lot of people, if you're close to it, you can, with battery and DRS, get really, really close and maybe overtake people. But that corner is especially difficult and dangerous because if two cars close to and another go into the corner with high speed, and one, especially the one on the inside, loses a little bit, or the one on the outside loses his car a little bit, that might cause an incident. So either you just push through and just send it, or you wait for the next straight and that might cost you a little bit of time, or the third choice, both of them crash. So that corner is especially interesting for me to always see, because if you have the better exit, if you can make it all the way next to the next car, but the corner's coming up, I mean, you have two choices, and the third one can be an outcome that both of them don't like it. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, Sandro, and especially in rainy conditions. And the reason I'm going slowly over that part of the sentence is because I'm looking at Q1 unofficial footage where Glenn's got the intermediates on. Could be a nice portent for later on. If you've got any intermediate conditions, you can't really go flat out around 130R. So that battle of do you go for the inside, do you try and go too wide, do you risk your line, becomes even worse when you can't really go around it full throttle. So we've still got, I think, a lot of time to work out what the weather's going to be as we move away from the unofficial Q1 and get ready for the start of Q2, which is going to be normally 15 drivers down to 10. In this case, we've got 13 drivers today. This is going to nicely segue me into talking about the drivers that have turned up. So the standard group of Ferrari drivers, we've got Glenn and Gaben and Senior, Maka and Junior. We've got Hodgson repping it for Haas. We've got Monty and Shadow in Alpine or Renault. Trav and Charmander in Red Bull, and they were going to have Miffy in Alpha Tauri, but he's been unable to make it today. Mercedes is where things get fun because Blaze and Calm are in the senior team. Great to see Calm on the track. He's not been here for the last couple of races. In the junior team, Crispy we're used to seeing. Instead of Something, they've got their reserve of Zydox. The other reserve is Franklin, and I think you can tell us more about Franklin because he's in orange colours, Sandra.
Yes, and mainly I had to decide between Zydox, Franklin, or Pass, while being past my favorite third driver, but I couldn't get him. Um, but no, I decided against Zydox this time around because of two choices. First, I saw Hodgson was always inting the pig face, so I don't know what he's up to. And second is Franklin also has put up some really decent, or like got really decent points in the last races, and that's what me as a McLaren team chef right now really want. I know Zydox can be up there and he can deliver really good points, but I don't know how aggressive he can be and maybe even crash out. And currently I just need a more stable variant and a more somebody that's yes in the midfield but can score consistent points, even though he can be unlucky sometimes. But I rather get or 2 points than none. You get me? So that's why I chose Franklin this time around. And I feel like he's the more consistent driver, even though Zydox showed us in the last time that he can be really consistent, even if he starts further at the back. but I don't know how aggressive he can be. So therefore, I relied on the more safer side.
Yeah, Franklin's going to hopefully be living up to the McLaren legend. We've got a lot of drivers, we've got a lot of action ready. But first, let's have a look at this video to prep you for the big event. Ladies and gentlemen, you've done your waiting. Now get ready for some hot action on the Formula 1 track. Welcome to the Suzuka International Racing Course in the Mie Prefecture in the Kansai region of the Honshu Island in Japan. So hopefully some Kansai drifting is going to be on the cards tonight. We've got all of our drivers ready. It's a particularly demanding track. The S's are very easy to mess up in Sector 1. Once you get through that, you've got to go through a really difficult traction left-hander. The Degner turns are famous, and the double apex spoon curve, turns 13 and 14, fairly demanding as well. A lot of famous corners here. The Casio Triangle, just at the end of the track, also very demanding. The real-life Japanese Grand Prix has been run 45 times. The lap record stands with Lewis Hamilton in the race and with Sebastian Vettel in qualifying. Let's see if any of our drivers can live up to the spirit of the quick drivers in real life and also the drivers in VL, such as Flyer, who won the last time we held it in Season 4. Sandra, we were just talking about Franklin, who was hoping to live up to McLaren colours. I personally think we might be seeing a bit of a long season play with Hodgson. He's not getting any subs now, so Haas can sink to the bottom, and then he can have first pick later on in the season. What do you think?
I mean, it's an interesting choice. He can have it. I don't care about that one. If I have second choice or third choice, I would be happy as well. I know we're not fighting for any higher points. We are fighting with Haas at the bottom. But the thing is, Hudson is forgetting, if you want to fight remain at the bottom with Haas as a team, he himself has to be at the bottom. Well, because it doesn't help if you have one driver that gets 25 points, 18 points, or whatever, how many points, if McLaren doesn't even score 1 point. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, but I guess he has his plans. I have mine. And we'll just see which one works better for next season.
Yeah, Hodge is a mystery wrapped in a riddle. You can't really analyse some of his decisions. He's got 900 IQ points more than anyone else. So we'll leave him to his machinations as he goes around the Suzuka course. I think he's actually going to be the first one to set a time lap. He's on his outlap now, along with, I'll say, 9 of the other drivers. The other 4 still in the pits. So let's take a look at Hodge as he goes around here. And I'll take you on a lap as we go through the start. P1 will be starting on the outside here. We really want a nice, solid entry into turn 1. Generally, drivers will be slowing to 4th or 5th gear here, maintaining the curve. Bit of a double apex here. And curbs are okay to take if you don't want to change your trajectory. But if you turn on a curb, it's spin central. Watch how he goes around Sector 1 here. He has to sort of get on the curbs. He doesn't do any sudden braking or acceleration. He just sort of guides the car through. Takes 4th gear there. I've seen drivers use 5th, but he's going to keep it going. All the way round, this is a very solid left turn with about 3 apexes here. Now we get to the 2 Degners. First one in 6th or 7th gear. Second one slow right down to 2nd or 3rd, and that takes you under the bridge. For the second half of the circuit, we're going to start with this hairpin here, as Franklin retires on the S's. We'll come back to him later. Hodge is going to keep going around. He's going to get as much speed as he can. Brilliant exit there. He wants to build up the speed as we go around right here, get onto maximum speed before the spoon curve, and here it is, 2 apexes. 5th for the first and probably 4th for the second. You want to get just to the outside for that second apex, but you can't get onto the red and white sausage curb, because that'll send your car spinning. Pyro mentioned it earlier, we're going to come up to 130R here as we approach the end of the track. Because there are dry conditions, you can do it flat out. You've really got to get that apex right though, or you will be going off the sausage curbs and into the shadow realm towards the end. Here's the Casio triangle, to the right, then to the left. Use all the curb you can. Many people tell me to get the best time. Hodgson is going to come around, and it's a 1:36. I can tell you that will get smashed, but that's a nice banker time that Hodge will have in the bank.
Yeah, and I don't know what's happening. McLaren curse. Frank is already out. So that is one. Oh, that time is like 10 times faster than even on the mediums from 1-2. Not bad. That is one driver out for Q2. Now I wanted to ask you the question: which of the 3 drivers we can expect to go out in Q1? We already have one out, being Franklin now. What do you think? What are the other 2 drivers that could potentially drop out in Q2?
I almost couldn't focus there, Sandro, because the drivers were just beating each other's times one after another. Monty was beaten by Maka, and then Shadowhopper got in there, yeah. In terms of drivers to leave, I don't think Blaze has done too much practice here, and I don't think he's been performing too well lately. So I have to give him my curse prediction that he'll leave. But in a way, it's the opposite of a caster curse, because if I say that he'll do badly, then he can always surprise the odds. The other one is going to be tricky. I reckon one of the Renault boys, although having said that, Shadowhopper's just set a really nice time lap 1. Monty, I think, has been smurfing a bit on this track, because normally he's performing a bit lower, but on circuits like Silverstone, he can pull out some really good times. So we'll see if that 1:29.5 is a bit of a fluke or if it can be improved upon. Calm is probably the biggest question mark on the grid. Everyone knows Calm's prodigious history, his wins. I think he won 34 races in his time. I say that, is his time still going, or is he a bit washed up on this game? He says he's going to crash out, but Calm's a master of the mind games. He often says he'll crash out and then goes and wins one, so I think there's life in the old dog yet. I still think Calm will go through to Q3 and contend for sort of 6th, 7th. To answer your question, I'll say one of the Alpines, Blaze, and of course Franklin.
I like that prediction. But you're right. Yeah, I was at first also on the side. Yeah, one of the Alpine. But I mean, both of them are at the front right now. Monty with a 1:28.0 and Shadowhopper with a 1:28.1. I mean, we still have to see the times from Travis and Psydox, which I say are probably the ones that you have to beat. But if I look at the time from Charmander Nerd, who I also think is really fast on this track, with a 1:28.4, it looks really spicy. Although I have to say some of them opt for the medium compound, so I don't know if both Alpines did the time on the softs, but it's still impressive, meaning that the bottom ones, or like closer to the bottom ones, well, we'll have to think about maybe also doing a soft outrun instead of a medium one. Will be interesting to see. While we see Psydox now finishing Sector 1 with a purple sector, which I already said, he and Travis will probably be the ones setting the times where we will have to look out forward.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit of a spectator bug when I'm seeing Zydox. He's just got the Williams engine full on revving, but you can never argue with a purple sector. I'm just trying to look for where the end sector line of the Sector 2 is, and it's after Spoon on this long straight. This will give us a really nice gauge. Sector 2 is a good one for seeing where you'll be in terms of the final lap, whereas Sector 3 is probably a bit more formulaic. He's going to go purple again. 1:11 at the end of Sector 2, very short Sector 3. It's the lead up to the Casio triangle. I think Zydox is set for something pretty good here. On the mediums as well, like the drivers at the top. He's going to get a really nice cut in. Maybe he could have picked a better line on the last bit, but he's going to smash Monty. 1:27.5. And now we see Alex retire in the pits, like he normally does about 2 minutes into every qualifying session. Zydox doing really well. Alex, he's done this a few times, so I think from Baku, which was half the season ago, he's just set up time, he thinks he'll get through, and then he's just gone, screw it, I'm just going to see what happens. And a few times that's actually bit him in the backside. because he hasn't been in the top 10. I still think there are a few tracks where it could catch him out. This probably isn't one of them. It's such a skill-requiring track. There'll be quite a difference, quite a delta between the top times and the bottom times. You can really make good driving show for a few seconds on this track, and as Franklin showed, it's really hard to maintain control and get around the track safely. So there will probably not be enough drivers, even on the soft tyres, getting above Charmander and forcing him down into the bottom 10. With 6 minutes to go, I really want to see the drivers who haven't set one yet do really well. We're on board with Gaben on the Casio Triangle at the moment. He's on board, set a fairly good time here. He's going around, setting a really good line, getting the DRS the last bit of the track, and he's beaten Zydox. So a lot of pressure put on those at the bottom end of the grid. Crispy still in the box, Trav on his outlap still. We've got at least a minute until we start seeing competitive times out of those guys.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like you said. Charmander has done this multiple times where he just DNS because he just puts out a decent lap, and then he's like, I'm fine with that. Whatever happens, happens. I mean, yes, you can see, like, I say Japan is probably, like you said already, a track that will not bite him back with this decision. Although I have to say, the bottom ones, or like below Charmander right now, are not drivers that are usually below Charmander, like the likes of Travis, Calm, and I'd say even, oh well, depends, Crispy sometimes. But those are already 2 or 3 drivers that might drop him down to 8th, and then there are only 2 more positions that he can lose, and then he's already out in Q2. So even though it's Japan, I won't say he's on the safe side today, because yes, Calm, I don't know about his time, it's 1:31, probably he's just trying to get back in there, but Travis is still there, Crispy's still there, Hutch is still ending, I don't know what he's doing, and all the other ones might as well just jump on the softs if they feel like they're in a dangerous drop zone.
Yeah, it's so easy to get dropped out, and so easy to look at how dangerous your position is at this point in the session. I don't know what Hodge has been doing. He's actually really good in time trial. Like, it's the easy option to meme on Hodge in VLF1, and I'm going to call him Bodgson just for that one. But yeah, his first time was absolutely trash, by his standards and by anyone's. He's got a really good time on time trial, so he just needs to make this count. It looks like he's having a couple ghosting issues, so for now I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he can hide behind something technical, maybe even an AI. Let's take a look at Calm a bit further ahead of him. He's a driver, I think, between Calm, Charmander, and Hodgson. They were the ones I was interested in watching. Charmander because he's particularly good at this track but has fallen off of late and hasn't practiced. Calm because he's the winningest driver but really hasn't played too much of this game recently. And then Hodgson just because of the latest developments. So assuming that Hodge is still having technical issues, I want to see how Calm does. He's got a really nice apex here, and actually he's really on the limit there. I really like his exit from the spoon curve because he had just the right amount of turn-in. The fastest a Formula 1 car goes is when it's about to lose traction, and he managed that pretty well there. With that said, he's still a second down, so he needs to find something and fast.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Calm. It's interesting. It's like Merc this year. Calm is just not up there. It's like Hamilton all over. He's just literally a copy of Hamilton. Hamilton does well in real life. Calm did well in real life. Now Hamilton doesn't have a car, and neither does Calm perform. So it's interesting. But maybe he will surprise us with this next lap he's putting in. I really hope so that he will be back up to his form and just show everyone how good he really can be. But while I say that, I mean, Hudson, yes, technical issues, but Crispy, well, he said earlier in our Twitch chat that he forgot to turn on his ERS on the last lap he did outside, is currently on an invalidated lap and only has another 2 minutes to do another lap and not invalidate and put in a time that is better than currently Calm's time. So it will be close for him as well to see if he makes it into Q3.
Yeah, I want to see how Hodge is doing, because he looks faster and he looks like he's hitting the apexes more than his AI a while ago. Well, we'll update you on that one. Crispy needs to pull something out of the bag, and the invalidation you pointed out means that he's only really got one more chance after this. So this is peak stakes in Q2. Franklin's already gone. Crispy and Hodgson appear to be fighting over one place. Blaze is looking to do something with soft tyres to try and get out of the dilemma he's in, but he's still got some clearance on Calm, who is now 2 seconds clear of his previous time. He's done really well so far. He's got to the line, and he's moved up into 6th. Go on, my son. Hodgson is also doing really well. He's 6 seconds up, according to our production. If we look at him, he's going around to the final stretch as well. And there he is. He's moved Blaze into the drop zone with 1 minute 20 to go. I could not write this, and in fact, I could write this. It would be very easy to write. But it's still a big shot.
Yes, but it's only P10, and we still have Blaze and Crispy that can put in a faster lap. Blaze also has still 1 minute. He's currently on an hot lap until he starts his new lap, and Crispy currently is on his hot lap, and we will see how he will perform in his time. He will soon finish the sector 1, and it's looking really, really good. Early on 6th gear, actually. Earlier than I expected to. He's trying to get the first time, and it's a purple sector. Okay, I like this very much. I like this. He's currently the one on softs because he invalidated and probably thought, yeah, on the mediums is too risky now. He will probably not make it into Q3. But for now, it's looking really, really good. I'm interested to see what his second sector is gonna be like, especially if his time is gonna be that much faster. I wanna see if Hodgson or even Blaze can improve.
Okay, so we've got a real battle on our hands now. Blaze is doing the hot lap, Crispy's doing the hot lap, Glenn just started his final hot lap, and Hodge is 0.6 up. Hodge is 0.6, will probably take him ahead of Glenn, ahead of Charmander, and fighting with Maka for P7, and he's even beaten Calm, he's into P6, he is safe as houses. Glenn continuing on his lap. Blaze is valid, and he's 0.6 up. At the moment, he needs another 0.2 to take Glenn's throne, and Crispy has just smashed everything, meaning that's irrelevant. Blaze needs to find a lot more time now. Crispy has jumped up to P1. He needed the soft tyres, but he's used them to maximum effect here. Blaze needs to find a good 1.2 seconds in these last few corners, with Glenn having the chance to settle up just afterwards as well. However, Blaze is 1.4 up. He's valid. He just needs to make this count. He could actually knock Charmander out here if he gets these last few corners right. He needs to keep this stable. He's got the traction coming out of the last corner. Used all of his ERS deploy, puts the DRS on, and he's in P8. Charmander's in the drop zone and can't possibly respond. Can Glenn get up to his teammate Maka? He needs another 0.3 to do it. He's got a purple sector too. Pyro take us home. Will Glenn beat Maka here?
Oh my god, this is so interesting. With the purple sector 2, I hope he will get into the top 3 places. And it's looking really good. 126, 127. Oh, what was that? I didn't see the time. Oh, please let it be some. 4th. Okay, not bad actually. So he's also through, and that means, I mean, as well when Blaze did his lap, Charmander is out because, like I said, it is Japan, but I think sometimes, and even especially here with the softs, it was a little bit too early. So currently, you only have Maka, Charmander, Franklin out in Q2, meaning the rest are still in. Ka made it barely by less than a 10th between him and Maka, and I already love it.
Yeah, you'd love to see that at the end of Q2, particularly with the tyre battle. So Crispy, Glenn, Hodge, and Blaze making their times at the end with the soft tyres. Of course, that means they have to start on them for the race, but it gets them into the final qualifying session. Charmander has unfortunately fallen foul again of leaving too early in Q2. Maybe he wanted to go feed his dog or like get a drink. Unfortunately, that's cost him a few places on the grid. Maka and Charmander are brilliant drivers in their own right. I would not have guessed that they would have gone. But yeah, we take those. Blaze has retired early from Q3, as we're going to go live to track shortly. It's worth saying that Blaze has a penalty for super license, so he will be starting 10th on the grid. But the fact that he was able to make it into Q3 clears his penalty and puts him a couple of places ahead of where he would have been initially. So props to Blaze. It's now a 9-car showdown.
Yeah, and I'm very interested to see because Shadowhopper and Monty, they put in the first laps, really, really good laps in, and we're first and second. And while we haven't talked about them a lot in Q2, they were still up there. They weren't even close to the drop zone towards the end of Q2, meaning their lap times were really competitive. Meaning I'm really, really interested to see what they can pull out now in Q3, and maybe even spice things up in the midfield or even higher, like the top three maybe. Who knows? I'm really optimistic here. I'm puffing a lot of copium, but who knows? Maybe Shadow Hopper Monty says, "Hello there, konnichiwa. It's me. No one expected me to be up here, but here I am, and you have to deal with it now." And I'm hoping I'm not smoking too much copium, and it will be happening.
I'm not gonna lie, I really loved the absolute alpha Giga Chad move. That not only did both Renault's Alpines perform really well, they also both left at the same time with like 3.5 minutes to go. So they just did the Charmander thing, but they did it with better times on the board, and I managed to get through. So you can call it Alpha or Giga Chad, or you can just call it lucky. Whatever happened, they left early and it paid off, whereas it didn't for Alex. As a result, they're in Q3. They have every chance at fighting well. Bear in mind, Trav is on championship battling form. Gaben has lit up a lot of times recently. You can never bet against Zydox. He's been brilliant subbing for whatever team he's on in a given week. So they're probably my picks for top three. But the beautiful part of this is that it's one session. It's 12 minutes. You've probably got 3 or 4 hot laps if you play your cards right. Anyone can beat anyone else in this field. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Apart from Blaze, he's 10.
I mean, it will be interesting to see because he hopefully will bet on Calm now, or probably will bet on Calm now that he puts out a good fight as well. But I'm very I doubted that Calm will be up there, maybe top 5, but I cannot see him challenging now Zydox or Travis or any of these Gaben. Because yes, Calm has made it to 3, and he might have sandbagged it, but even with the sandbags on, I feel like it showed us a little bit of how his read times are, or how he performs currently, and it might improve over the time of the race, or even now in Q3, but if I just look at the Q2 timings, it will be interesting to see if he performed even better or worse than before. But you never know with this man. He's an alien. He was always an alien, so maybe he put on the heavy sandbags and has a different strategy for the race. Who knows? I mean, he can have a bookie as fuck strategy. But while I go on about this, we will have the first timings, which are from Calm currently, where I was talking about, and Hodgson. And Hodgson with a 1:27.4. and Calm being 1.7 seconds behind Hodgson's time. Monty being 1/10 behind Hodgson's time with a 1:20. Oh, okay, never mind. There we go. Gaben 1:26.3.
Yeah, one absolute blitz from Gaben there. To reference that against the Q2 times that we saw, fastest time in Q2 was Crispy's 1:27.3, and that was on softs, so you can compare it with just faster than Hodgson's. Gaben has absolutely smashed that one. We're going to be seeing Whopper come up to the line now. He's got a valid lap. He's going to put 1:27.5 on the board. Just behind him, we've got Glenn with a valid lap as well. He's going to put 1:27.5, but slower on the board. So a bit of a MasterCard P3 through to P5 on the board. Shadow, then Glenn, then Monty. Blaze obviously disqualified from Q3. We've still got Crispy. Zydox is Williams' teammate for today. And Trav yet to settle up. Being in the pits 5 minutes into Q3 is not normally the tech, but here comes the Red Bull about to leave. The last guy to leave the garage. Or at least for the second time. He might have been out earlier behind Calm, but didn't set anything.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see. Oh, we have a yellow flag. Okay, it's just a slow Ferrari looking by. But yeah, it's interesting to see the timings. Obviously, I'm very much interested in Zydox and Travis's time now. But currently, by the looks of it, Gaben is in a different league. 1 second up Hodgson's time. So that will be an interesting race for P1 if Zydox and Travis can be as close as Gaben's time. And just, I don't know. I'm literally speechless right now. I don't know what to say. He's just 1 second off everybody.
Yeah, Gabe is really blitzing it right now. It's sort of what you'd expect from Sunny when he's not here. Crispy has improved on his Q2 time. He's set a 127.1, but Gaben is still up there. He's absolutely destroyed everyone so far. He's going to come into the pits. If I was Gaben, I'd be fairly confident of victory with Trav and Zydox as asterisks. But then I've still got the opportunities. He can still freely have 2 more bites at the apple. And if he wrecks his car now, he's still doing well. So Gaben can go into what we like to call maximum risk mode here in the calculation office. And I really want to see what that looks like. A lot of the drivers going into the pits now with 6 minutes to go. The track evolution over time means that the fastest the track will be is towards the end of the session. Zydox comes past him 126.1, by the way. So Gaben's going to have that on his mind. As track evolution gets stronger, it means that the fastest the track will be is towards the end, when you have the best conditions, when you have the lowest fuel, when you can put on a fresh set of softs, do a single lap stint. So these times aren't safe, as Zydox has just shown us, as Trav might be about to show us in about a minute's time. But yeah, there's some really good ones on the board at the moment. Fastest one in Q2 was 1:27.3, and that's already been demolished.
Yeah, and Travis is now past Sector 1. It was not a purple sector. But I don't know how close it was compared to Zydox and Gaben's first sector time. But I would guess it's probably about there. And I will probably see if Sector 2 maybe will light up purple. We will have to see. One thing I wanted to point out is interesting to see that Travis, usually, yes, he wants to go out later because of track evolution, but I don't know if he wants to have the stress of going in and instantly going out again, because it might be close towards the end when the track evolution is at its max, like we said earlier. And while I said that, purple sector 2. So he will put up a fight like we expected him to. It will be interesting to see where is he gonna end up, because sector 1 wasn't the fastest, sector 2 was the fastest, and I lost connection. Our production lost connection. We're very sorry about that. But yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately on my side, for a bit of info into the production side, we normally have 2 spectator accounts, one from production, one from myself. Both have been disconnected, so yeah, you'll love to see it. As it happens, Trav was getting 2 purple sectors, as Pyro pointed out, and that would have put him on track to do really well, maybe even to displace Zydox at the top. Zydox and Gaben were doing really well. The Alpine, Renaults, and the Ferraris are doing all right further down. But yeah, it really sucks. I'm not sure what the best move is here, whether the session is still going in production's absence, or whether Q3 will need to be restarted. Because, yeah, we have the absence of what we call frozen times. We can't go from a previous session. So, yeah, we'll bring you that as it happens.
You know what? Maybe Travis's time was so quick, the game couldn't handle it and just crashed. Because apparently it crashed for multiple people. I just seen Blaze restarting the game, Hodgson restarting the game, so I don't know if it's been a general game issue, but maybe the time of Travis was way too quick, and it just couldn't handle it. Boom.
Yeah, like it's either Supan or Stack Overflow, whether you're more interested in superheroes or coding. The integers just wouldn't work out. It went too negative. He went too fast that time started going backwards. I think the game couldn't handle that. So yeah, Trav having a real barnstormer there. Hopefully the session continued in our absence. I've got no way of finding out at the moment. But hopefully that will lead to Trav having a good fight for pole. If not, we've got several other outcomes on our hands. We either run off Q2, which would be a bit yikes, or we reset Q3 and have another go. All of this requires the drivers to get together. So we're getting info that the race director was also kicked from the session, which sort of suggests that all of our drivers would be, which unfortunately will mean we have to run Q3 again. Can we go to a short break while we try and sort things out? Can we maybe get some music playing? Just a 2 or 3 minute break. Fantastic. In which case, well, guys, we hope to find out what's been happening, and we'll get back to you soon. We'll be back in 2 to 3 minutes, hopefully with a restart of Q3 shortly afterwards. Thanks, guys. Okay, welcome back. Apologies for the technical difficulties. We managed to resume with 15 seconds left on Q3, and I don't know if we caught it, but we just missed out on a Zydox spin. There we go. Was that another disconnection for our production?
Sadly,
Yeah,
yes.
2 in a row. You love to see it. Fortunately, I got myself a screenshot of the timing stack just before we left. So, as things were happening, Zydox was leading. Before the first disconnection, we saw Trav doing really well. Unfortunately, couldn't make it stick around the whole lap. So this is almost radio commentary. The timing stack, as I saw it, was Zydox, Gaben, Travis, Crispy, Hodgson, Whopper, Glenn, Monty, and then the two Mercs at the bottom, Calm and Blaze. 5 of those drivers were in the pits with 40 seconds left, which heavily suggests there was some voodoo stuff going down and that most of the drivers couldn't access their cars. But yeah, hopefully we'll have that resolved soon enough. Let's just check with our back room.
We have our production issue, sadly, because this game is programmed by code shitters, not code masters. I wanted to say, like you said earlier, if I saw it correctly, Travis was 4/10 of Zydox time, who was in P2, which means now that Sunny isn't here and Travis wants to score most amount of points he can get, looks like he has a tough battle in front of him because both of them were on a quick time, Zydox and Gaben, and Travis was the only one 4/10 down, which is for Travis's the standards really far behind. I mean, usually half a second isn't much, but for Travis, it is. And it's gonna be interesting. He has more game knowledge, I feel like, and strategy-wise knowledge than I'd say Zydox and Gaben. But I mean, who knows? Maybe it will pay out in the race, maybe not. And I'm really curious to see that. Well, we're still not in. Do we have news if it will just stick with Q3 or if we're just moving on to race? Okay, nothing yet apparently. So while we still try to find out what's happening, if Q3 will stay like this, if we redo Q3, or if we just move on to race. Yeah, I'm just interested to see what we're gonna see for the next part we're gonna have, even if it's gonna be Q3 again, because I like the Q3 up to the point where it crashed, because this game is lovely, my guys.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't give you the greatest of confidence, but yeah, hopefully we don't have a big repeat of that one. We got the timing stat with 40 seconds to go. Hopefully that will translate into the final results, but I'm in no position to confirm that, of course. It does sort of reflect the general standings of how we expected it to go. Trav, Zydox, and Gaben were the 3 I was expecting to compete for P1. Trav was probably my favorite for it, but yeah, it was Zydox's fast lap in the end. We're thinking that we have to run Q3, but that's not been confirmed yet. Obviously, with 5 drivers still being in the pits with 1 minute to go, it really suggests that a lot of the field was unable to race or got affected by that disconnect. Monty, Calm, Whopper, and Zydox were on track, but the other 5 that were active, Gaben, Trav, Crispy, Hodge, and Glenn, still in the pits. So yeah, we've got a few options we can take. Run with that with 40 seconds to go. New Q3, run off Q2, or go and play Mahjong for the night, which is looking like the increasingly popular option. Apologies to all of our new viewers, to all of our seasoned viewers. Welcome to the latest episode in Cody's school library. Pushka throwing us some sick emotes in chat. I feel like tonight's A or B poll could be whether the stream will break down again.
At this point, we just need a different game that we can play in case there's DC again happening, or the game just fucks itself. Just like a casual side game that we can just easily boot up. Just always ready, so we can have it when F1 doesn't work. We just have a different game, which we just have fun with until F1 works again.
Yeah, we've got We suggested earlier that if F1 2020 didn't work well, we could move back to 2019. But whereas I'm pretty sure there were more bugs with that game than this one. And then, of course, we could just try like a 1v1 on League or something while the rest of the lobby messes around. So,
Yes,
I'm
imagine.
sure. Yeah, we're about similar level. I think we've both reached sort of low gold, mid silver. We could just both 1v1 ADC on the Howling Abyss while these guys get the lobby going. Oh man, I miss Dark Coffee, the team.
I missed it as well. Actually, it is very interesting because last time, I think it was last week or something, I got tagged in a tweet where one of our old members asked if we're gonna have a reunite as Dark Copy. So interesting that you mention it.
Yeah, there's of course we had the NSK team, which is I think pretty much half of the F1 league has played in the NSK League of Legends team. Uh, Definitely had Hodge in there. We obviously Brandon was the coach. We had Impress coming in as a coach at one point. Charmander played for us. I think we got Travis in a game, or at least we didn't. Wink, wink. He's an admin.
Mhm.
Yeah, Glenn as well. Wink, wink. He definitely didn't play. I'm sure we tried to poach Franklin. We got Rock in there as well. Tent with F1 was playing in there. Law, of course, long standing. So yeah, we did try and get as many F1 drivers as we could to sign up for Nats League of Legends, but as those of you who were around it might know, it didn't go too well in the end. We've got hopefully all of our drivers lining back up. I think the call is to rerun Q3. So Q1 and Q2 are going to be sort of run through ceremonial formality auto skipped. Apologies, guys. We're hoping to get things back on track as quickly as we can. Weather still looks good in this rerun Q1.
Mm. Um, Rerun. I'm not sure if we are we doing only Q3, right?
I think so. It would be a bit BM for everyone else for Franklin to just try and knock people out, but it would be fun.
Oh, I would love it. Franklin P1? What? I mean,
Maybe Charmander could actually race for a full session instead of jumping in the pits after 3 minutes.
well, I mean, probably he learned out of this, and then he would try and put in another time after his
Oh,
first time.
speaking of, I think that Charmander's doing the ceremonial hot lap. So,
Hey,
so I think only one person needs to set a hot lap for it to not mess up with the standings. Normally, Glenn or like Blaze does it. We've learned quickly to have a backup ready so that one person isn't left in the session and does their car in. We've got Alex doing the out lap at the moment. We'll get him doing the hot lap, then we'll move on to Q2. Um, I
wait.
think people will then need to leave in the right order.
I was about to say, I think everyone has to do an outlap besides the three that were going out, which are Micah, Chamanda, and Franklin. They should retire to start, or they would probably retire to start, while everyone else just does one lap.
And then on top of that as well, if the three drivers that were all the drivers that locked in times in Q2, I don't know if they all have to set their times on the same tire, or if they will
Ooh.
just manually select a tire in the race that matches.
Great question, but I think they should do that then.
Yeah, I don't think you can, let's say, set the fastest lap on mediums in Q2 and then select softs in the race. You have to use the same tire set.
Hmm.
I'd love if one of the drivers just absolutely DNF'd in Q2. Like the 10 drivers that were meant to go out and set a time, one of them went around at 30 miles an hour and just DNF.
They're like, well, all right, I guess we're only having 9 drivers. So wait, 8 drivers in Q3. Because Blaze is, because of his penalty, he cannot race in Q3.
Yeah, there we go.
Hmm.
I love what the production, and by production I mean Stillbender's done with the studio, by the way.
Yes, right? The background where you can
Yeah,
see
he's
the
got
car.
it overlaid on the TV in the studio. Ceremonial uwu coming in from Stillbend in the studio.
And I always love the Easter eggs and the small
Yeah,
camera at the top right. Hmm. Might as well go for one.
yeah. Let's do it. I promised you a good 3 minutes of music earlier. Let's do that while our drivers get through Q1 and Q2, and then we'll rejoin you for the rerun Q3 with the 9 drivers that we expected. Until then, here's some Pentakill.
Right.
Secrets, anyone can find me. No music coming from my mind. I'm thinking me, you. I'm thinking me, you. I'm thinking you. I'm thinking I'm on top of the world because of you. All I wanted to do is follow you. I'll keep singing along to all of you. I'll keep singing along. I'm thinking me, you. I'm thinking me, you. I'm what's it like to be you? 2020, looking in the rearview. Make me feel like Superman. You can do anything you want. I'm on top of the world because of you. I do nothing that they could never do. I will keep playing around with all of you. I'll keep playing around. I'm thinking me, you. I'm thinking me, you. I'm thinking me, you. I'm thinking me, you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hope you've had your drinks break. Just gone for a quick bathroom break as well. We'll be bringing you back to tonight's action. And despite Codemaster's best efforts to interrupt anything Formula One related for the night, Pyro, how are we doing?
Really good considering I just lost to a spider in the bathroom, which is quite sad. But yes, I need a distraction now before I cannot get any sleep. So let's hope this race is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for a clean race from a technical perspective, one where we actually have all the drivers doing things and where the game doesn't mess anything up. But my hopes have been dashed before. We've got 13 drivers, and to clarify things from an admin perspective, Q2 went ahead earlier as planned, and we got the top 10. Bleeze is P10 because he's going to be taking his penalty. And we've got the rest of the grid in order, so we'll be taking you through that now. Okay, so this is the grid based on the Frozen Q3. Zydox and Gaben had the fastest two times, 1:26.1 and 1:26.3. Trav looked like he would have a really fast time coming into the end of the session, but that hot lap wasn't quite enough. Crispy had a 1:27.1, beat his Q2 time, good enough for fourth. Hodge and Shadowhopper making some really good times there. They were mid 1:27s. Of course, everyone in Q3 on the soft compound did admirably. Glenn and Monty, similarly, they are mid 1:27s, really close to the row in front. They'll be having to fend off a Mercedes charge from behind them. Calm and Bleeze are in the fifth row of the grid. Bleeze taking the pen. Calm not finding his feet too hard yet, but he's got time to make that up. He is a Mr. Sunday. Maka and Charmander fell foul at Q2, but they'll be right behind the Mercs on the grid. And last but not least, we have our boy Franklin, Blood to Bleed in P13. He had a bit of a spinola on the S's, and I don't know if he's had any time to go into a separate time trial lobby or practice session. Logic would dictate no. We'll see how he performs in the real thing.
Yes, and from my standpoint, of course, I hope he will put in a good fight and score quite some points.
Yeah, obviously he's your McLaren guy, Scott. What happened to Scott? Was he just not able to make it today?
Well, I asked him earlier this day, and he was like, "Yes, he will race," and then he just dropped me with, "I won't be racing." So I don't know what happened. I hope it's nothing bad, and I can be mad for him. Uh, I can be mad at him. But yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe he just didn't feel like it after he saw that it's Japan, and he has, I think, so far 100% DNF record, and Japan's first sector is not a forgiving one. So he was like, probably, no, actually, I don't wanna race today. I hope
Yeah.
that it was just this and nothing drastic.
Yeah, you want a nice easy track with a lot of straights and a lot of wide lines, like Russia, like China, like I don't basically not street circuits and certainly not Japan. Yeah, you're right. Scott's retired loads of the of the 7 races he's taken part in. He's retired in 5. He's classified 12th in Monza, and he's classified 17th in the 100th Grand Prix in Silverstone. So really, not the record to defend. The downside for him, among getting your Wrath copy, is that he'll be eliminated from racing rivals. So McLaren just with that 1 seat left in play. Yeah, Franklin will be holding up his end of the bargain. Scott's McLaren seat 1 will be going out. So you've still got 1 seat in there.
Ah,
You'll see if you can keep things going.
pain. At this point, I was like, maybe it was the wrong choice not to race because since I've been out, Scott still hasn't surpassed me, in the World Driver Championship. So, and now even dropping out of the racing rivals. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Oh, next season is McLaren's season.
there's always next season. And yeah, you had I think 6 races classified in this season. You got 6th in the opening race in Austria, a couple of 9th places, and 8th or 10th. You're on 17 points at the moment, which is level with Flyer. You're ahead of Icarus and Dorm in the subs, and you've got more than 5 times comms points. He's on 3, so that's always nice bragging rights to have. We have got the ready from Blaze, our race director, which means the rest of the grid has at most 30 seconds to finalize their setup. Captains are ready. They've set their fuel loads. They've set their tyre strategies, especially to match the qualifying sessions we've just done with the tyre lock. And they've set the final adjustments on the park Fermi conditions, mainly the differential on throttle and the angle of the front wing for aerodynamic purposes. So, what are we expecting, Pyro? Anything spicy do we think is going to happen off the start of this?
Yes, turn 1, always interesting because while in the race, it can be interesting to make a move and dangerous as well. At the start, you have a lot of cars, and while the first corner, say, is not really a dangerous one in the race per se, but at the start, a lot of people obviously want to gain a lot of positions. So if there is a gap, obviously, you are a driver, you want to go for it. Like the famous saying, if you no longer go for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver. Or is it, and we just see somebody spitting on the formation?
Oh no, it's called. That is VL greatest of all time, the GOAT, Kamari Williams. He's there in the senior team, and he's just spun on the S's in Suzuka. Feels bad, man. I'm actually going to check him for wing damage, and he looks to have his end plates, but he's lost all of his pride, all of his confidence.
So sorry for laughing. It just looked so troll.
Well, yeah, Karma has been described as a bad troll by many of the VL admin teams, so he has got to live up to it.
It just caught me off guard as well. I mean, I just see all the cars going by, and then somebody in the back is just like, whee! But yeah.
Okay, quick look at tyres. We've got mediums and softs on. Obviously, top 10 have to go with what they did in the Q2 session that is now distant memories. Of the bottom 3 that had free tyre choice, Maka and Franklin going for the softs, Charmander going for the mediums. I think about now is when we get the optimal tyre strategy showing on the screen. I'm pretty sure with Suzuka it was a 2-stopper, but we'll see what people go with. Hard tyres are particularly bad with a lot of the corners here. Crispy and Hodgson hitting each other, you'll love to see it. That's going to get them back onto the starting line.
Oh man, they just gave me so much content for the next video I want to do. But yeah, like I said, medium and softs. I feel like it's a medium soft. Most people want to go. Obviously, for the ones driving on the softs, probably soft, medium, medium, or maybe soft, medium, soft. Who knows? One of those two stretch, whatever works. Especially, you can never forget their safety car.
Yeah, safety cars definitely possible in most races. Very likely in Japan, I would argue. We've got the lights coming on. This is round 21. 6 races to go in VLF1 Season 5. Lights are out and away we go. Let's have a look on how our drivers will respond. Some smoke coming up there as Hodgson in the Haas tries to make an early move but locks up Big Styly. David on the inside, slots in behind Zydox at the front. And there's already a spin from Blaze. Is he going to go into a barrier? He's controlled that really well as the rest of the drivers get back onto the track. But this is the S's. Anything could happen. Monty has a bit of a spin on the curb, but he's going to get back into the swing of things. Maka not able to move any further up the field because it's so hard to overtake on these S's. This left turn here at the end of the first sector, very difficult to negotiate as well. Maka is going to be very close to Monty, not able to make the move as we come up to the Degners. This is really fun to see lap 1 Suzuka live. Glenn behind his old teammate Hodgson, trying to just get some stability in lap 1. Zydox is leading.
Yes, and it's interesting to see. No big crashes. I love to see it. So everybody is in the fight. And Ricky already made up a place because of Brandon spinning, which is kind of unfortunate. But besides that, no big thing. And I see Chamina making a move on Monty, or tried to make a move on Monty, which quite didn't work out. But so far, yes. Not even the top went quickly away like I expected them to. Travesty lost the position. Well, oh, did he start fourth? I'm not sure about that.
I want to say third. I had Crispy.
Yeah, I think he also lost the position to Crispy. So Crispy apparently had a really great start. Obviously Travesty. Oh, well, I said it. Blaze is out, and he lost it. Where I said it would be dangerous. 130 out.
Yeah,
so,
he called it, Sandro. He's gone, and that means we're down to 12 drivers. The safety car has been called. It is the first of potentially several safety cars here. Honestly, I don't think it means a lot for tyre strategies. The suggested tyre strat is actually a one-stop rather than the two I mooted. The soft hard or medium hard. I don't see anyone switching up at the moment. They're just going to stay in the snake formation. The drivers on the soft tyres are probably served better by that one because they're going to get a lot more impact out of their soft tyres. So Crispy up near the front is really going to be loving that news. The guys on mediums, it might almost be the case that they switch to softs later on instead of hards, but I think they'll need to be another safety car to get that amount of tyre life. But a safety car is incredibly likely, as we've seen. Sucks for Brandon because he wasn't one of the favourites coming into this. He managed to get into Q3 when we ran it. He was struggling on turn 1 and managed to control his car really well into that first S, considering he could have lost his wing or lost a few positions or even retired right there. But then at the end of that circuit, hot tyres, 130R, it just didn't work out for him. But free position gang, rise up for everyone else. 12 drivers remain. If you finish, you're almost guaranteed points. 2 drivers finished today. Without points, the rest will get them.
yes, and interesting. I think 2 seasons ago it was Kelly that pulled out Japan one stop where his tires towards the end almost exploded. So it will be interesting. Well, I say probably no one will pit, but if somebody wants to pit it towards the hards and try to make it work as long as possible, and then maybe towards the end go for another safety car putting on the softs, I'm not against it, and I guess my driver understands me through telepathic things. I don't know what he said. Okay, he's on mediums, but at least he got the point where he's like, yes, I put on my mandatory soft, I can go on mediums and technically go towards the end depending on how his race goes. But I like it.
Yeah, he's got the legality. He's extended the life of the safety car, so he's going to have to catch up here for the safety car to go in this lap. I think he probably will do it because of the slow pace of the car. But yeah, he's got the legality sorted. He can switch to any tyre set now from here on out. And he's got a lot of freedom. The first order is just to catch up to the back of this pack, and the second is just to get some stability in there. He's going to hope for another safety car, probably about lap 15, lap 16. That seems to line up with his thinking. Franklin may now have the option of switching to softs later in the race, which would be considerable amounts of poggers if he manages to make it line up with the safety car, or indeed just manages to get the jump on the drivers around him. He's almost to the back of the pack now. it's highly likely that when we cross over into Sector 3, Zydox will need to prepare for a restart.
Yes, and well, at the start, Zydox he did get away quite well, but Gaben was still close towards him. So the top, I expected, to be fair, Zydox, Gaben, and maybe Travis to just pull away, instantly 1 second away to fourth place. But that wasn't the case, and I love it because that means we are also maybe gonna have an interesting fight for the top, not only midfield but also the top where it counts for first place. I think safety car's going in, is it not? Usually it says really late sometimes. Which I think the lights just... No, okay, so
Yeah.
I gonna have another round of safety car because the game decided so.
Yeah, Zydox would definitely have needed to give it a bit more space. Bern Mylander wants to get his name put up there in the stands, wants to go for a victory lap, wave at all the spectators here. So yeah, everyone else getting another lap out. And again, this sort of gives an advantage to the soft runners because they can extend their small tyre life and maybe start thinking about soft medium. Whereas the medium runners, they're losing a bit more of the later life of their tyres. We'll have Kowalski come in and do an analysis on that one later, but a lot of the chain is going to stay that way. No one's going to have got a pit stop on anyone, Franklin being the exception. Everyone's just going to be in a giant train, and we're going to go back into colder tyres, lap 1-esque situation when the safety car comes in and when Zydox does the restart.
Yes, and well, we're currently at it. We currently have not much, but big winner and big loser. Micah gaining 2 positions and Monty losing 2 positions from the start. And usually the start is where you get or you can gain the most positions or lose the most positions. So meaning Monty had a rather terrible start, and Micah had compared to Monty a rather good start. And I know Maka can be up there if he has great days. So it will be interesting to see between him and Khan, because Khan, I know he's there, but he's one in the formation lap. So I don't know. We'll have to see with cold tires, especially. We've seen the likes of Travis with who's a really talented driver to still spin out on cold tires because sometimes it just catches you off guard. So maybe it happens to one of them as well on the restart. We gotta see. But one thing I wanted to say is the likes of Charmander. While yes, he gained 1 position, I expected him to gain more than 1 position at the start. But I mean, I think he's still happy to still be in the race, I feel like, because he's on the mediums, and so as far as I know, the guy in front of him on softs. So he will just play the waiting game probably and try to be as close as possible. While the safety car is ending, we're gonna go on a restart soon.
Yeah, so the restart here, Zydox has to leave room for the safety car to go into the pits. If the safety car is too close when he approaches the line, his limiter comes in and he can't accelerate, which is pretty detrimental for a driver that's trying to lead a race. So he's got to give it some clearance. He's playing the pursuit, he's playing the waiting game with Gaben immediately behind him. It looks like Gaben has collided with Zydox according to the game. So that's going to be a 5-second penalty for both drivers. And Crispy and Gaben appear to have made contact with each other as well. Things getting really rowdy up there in the top of the field. And I don't know if there was any wing damage involved, but certainly high stakes. Crispy is the real benefactor here. Further down the grid, we've got Calm making a move on Glenn around the first S. Looks like Glenn will try and switch that back, but no, Calm's got the traction with the mediums. Monty is doing pretty well here, and Franklin is heading up the back of the field. He's just got Charmander in his sights. So all things a bit smoother this time, apart from the guys at the front.
And make a little bit optimistic. And crashing into Glenn with now no end plate, which will impact him sadly. I think, are they not in a call? Why are they not communicating this? Well, it's fine. Meanwhile, Travis and Gaben are fighting. Gaben, really unfortunately, lost the place to Crispy and is probably now mentally a little bit down, and Travis tries to benefit from this, but he didn't make it stick. Meanwhile, Charmander, his teammate, getting Monty, so he's up 1 place.
Yeah, the advantage of this section here, just coming up to 130R, you've got a lot of slipstream, and I believe it's a DRS section, I could be wrong, so there's just a lot of chance for overtakes to happen. Shadow getting really close in there. He's in P5 at the moment, and now attacking Travesty, things you love to hear. Hodge is going to have a real bad spin on the way through the Casio Triangle, and Calm is going to take immediate advantage. He's in P6. A couple of changes at the back, as well as Maka goes into the pit. He obviously did his wing in when he tried that move on Glenn. I've got no idea what he was doing, but he's going to have to repair that damage. And yeah, he's going to have a set of softs to come off, a set of mediums to come on.
Interesting. I don't know if you can go towards the end on mediums now. I think it's still quite too early. But while I say that, Glenn spins. I don't know if he's in a wall or just spawn. Looks like just a spin, no damage to front wing, but really unfortunate. That's already 2 Project Ferrari drivers down the order outside the top 10.
I mean, first it was happening to Mercedes, Calm having that issue in qualifying, Blaze DNFing. Now Ferrari with Glenn and Maka. I think Red Bull better watch out. All the senior project teams are going to have things coming for them. As it happens, Gaben is getting close to Crispy, coming through Spoon Curve. Lap 6 of 27 already. Things have gone past very quickly. Well, that's what a safety car does for you. Calm is now bearing down on Shadowhopper, and the way in which Calm is dispatching drivers on the slower tyre compound is making me really miss his form when he was absolutely the king of everything. Gaben is very close to the driver in front, but I'm still with Calm here. He goes very close to Shadowhopper in the Casio Triangle. He's probably going to have DRS here on the home straight. And despite Zydox getting the fastest lap, I'm still really interested in what Calm and Hodge behind him are doing.
Now with DRS enabled, it will be easier for Calm on the next straight to probably catch Shadowhopper, but Shadowhopper is also inside the DRS of Travesty. So Travesty has to be the one to watch out because he's the only one outside of the DRS. So while we say that, Monty is the next one to spin, sadly, after the long straight. I think it was just a spin. Yes, it was just a spin. So he's all fine. Looks like he has no damage at all as well. But a lot of people catching up the first turn after the straight. Well, meanwhile, Hodgson on Calm now. What happened there? Calm was just on the back of Shadowhopper, and now Hodgson says, "Yeah, Calm, let me have that place, please."
I thought Hodge was going to send it down the hairpin there, but yeah, Calm keeping it going. Have a really slow Degner. Hodge on the soft tyres as well. Throw in the nameplates of Calm and Hodgson, and this is really spicy.
I love this. I mean, Hodgson, he's usually not the aggressive one, so I don't expect him to send it anywhere. But now with the DRS zone coming up, could be interesting. Come on, let's see
look
if
at
he
that
does
plenty
it.
there. He's using all of his battery right now. Calm is doing it as well. This is bad. This is exactly the situation you talked about. They're going up to the end of 130R. Hodge, is he going to go off the track? They both took that so well. They both stayed on the track, didn't force each other off the track, and got just the right amount of room. That is peak racing.
And that was such a lovely overtake, and that just shows you how experienced those two drivers are. And now Calm is for the switchback with the DRS. Obviously, Calm was just playing with Hodgson. I was impressed by the overtake, but I think as in Hodgson's position, I would have waited as well for the DRS zone. So Calm probably even gave that one up because he knew the next one was going to be a DRS zone. But really, really well played. I love this.
Yeah, Calm, you feel that when Calm crashes, it's just because he's limit testing a bit too hard. I'm getting more and more excited by how well he's driving, and the fact he was able to battle so closely was really good. I hope I don't curse him there as he kicks up a lot of dust going through that first Degner. He's still 1.3 back from Shadowhopper on the same tyre compound, but if he can keep that distance while battling with Hodge, then he certainly has the potential. He needs to get those exits right, because so much of this Suzuka circuit is about finding the traction and the exits out of corners so that you can go at full speed and get the maximum acceleration out of the next corner. Gaben making a move on Crispy here. Now Crispy has the faster tyre compound. Gaben is still outpacing him and has the slipstream. We might be seeing a 130R battle. Let's see what happens as we get closer. Crispy's still able to maintain the good position, and Gaben has actually got the higher ERS reserves. We'll see this one for a few more laps at least.
Yes, and while Crispy is on a faster compound, it also means his tires degraded faster. And Gaben is really close on the straight, yes. And with DRS, no chance at all for Crispy here. Gaben obviously wanting to have that P2 back, he lost. Meanwhile, Hodgson has now DRS on Calm. He goes on the outside. Oh, was there a contact? Look like it. And Hodgson still has the nose front. Calm is still battling. Oh my god, the Nexus is the inside. Oh my god, that was really, really close. But Hodgson, in the end, keeps his position on P6. Calm, P7. He will not just give up that position for sure. But that looked really, really close.
Yeah, whatever that really close racing was on 130 or 2 laps ago, forget that. That was the opposite there through the S's. I think there was contact between Hodges' rear right wheel and Calm's front left wheel a couple times on those few corners. So just absolute chaos there. Oh, and Calm nearly hitting Hodge in the back as well, going up to that hairpin. That's going to have a lot more story to it. Speaking of, we got more penalties near the front. Gaben already on 5 seconds because of the collision with Zydox. He's actually gained up 3 more because of track limits. Crispy doing the same, so penalties galore up in the top half. Trav may benefit if we get a few more penalties, because he's got a clean race so far.
Yes, he's 1.3 seconds behind, but he might as well just play it safer, just saving up tires, and let the guys in front battle each other out, and then benefit towards the end. Because we all know Travis is really good with strategy and tire management.
Oh, Com's just dooted Hodgson as we go around Casio Triangle. Hodge just kept it going. I don't know if Com had any wing damage there, but that can't be good if you keep dooting people. Yeah, no visible damage to the end plates. Hodge is going to try and break the slipstream. And now Charmander has joined the battle. This is peak veterans of VL battling against each other. I love this. I want to see more of it. And Hodge is going to be almost the pace man as we go around these first few corners. Hodge now on 9-lap old softs has got to be getting towards the slower end of his stint. The cliff rapidly beckons, and Hodge has just got to fend off Calm for what it's worth. Just fend off Calm, an impossible request 2 seasons ago. It's looking pretty difficult right now. Charmander just being chilling right now, ready to pounce at a moment's notice.
Yes, Charmander's waiting for the next opportunity. Oh, is Calm sending it? No, I thought as well he might send it. I mean, Calm is probably more likely to send it than Hodgson is, especially in these situations. But it's really interesting to see. He's really, really close, but Hodgson is still keeping that position. He's like, you're not gonna have it easy. But the next one, now that we go to towards the long straight 130R, it's not a DRS zone, but with the slipstream, you can still gain quite a lot of ground here. It will be interesting to see if he makes a move now or wait for the next DRS zone. Looks like he's just saving up, which makes sense because with DRS you have a much easier time. But you also have to be wary now that Charmander's right next to you. And if Hodgson doesn't watch out what he's doing, he might lose even 2 positions.
Yeah, this is now the DRS straight as well. Hodge had a really nice delta through Casio Triangle, but he's not able to accelerate further away. Calm is gaining Charmander as well, but Hodge is going to keep the lead into the S's. And to be honest, that's what matters. Going too wide around the S's just doesn't really happen around Suzuka. Maybe lap 1 aside. Crispy still fighting his battle with Gaben. Calm and Hodge hopefully continues to be a flashpoint. Charmander is going to be very close to them as we're more than a third of the way into the race at the moment. We're close to approaching where drivers change their tyres. 10 laps is the duration of most drivers' tyres. Considering the 1-stop, soft to hard or medium to hard optimal strategy, it means that especially Crispy and Hodgson and Glenn on those softs will be looking to come in at a moment's notice. Mediums, not long to go. Calm is now really close to Hodgson, and Hodge doesn't have the ERS. He's pretty much run out of his battery. He's towards the end of his stint, so Calm and Charmander really forced together and making it very difficult to defend against behind them.
Yeah, and well, Hodge doesn't have a lot of years. He managed so far to still stay ahead of him. But now the tires, they are soft and they probably start to lose the pace, and the mediums are probably the faster one. So we will see if he still manages to remain in front. Charmander also very, very close to Calm. Meanwhile, Zydox putting out the fastest lap. We're now on the DRS. I feel like the exit of Hodgson is really, really good.
Meanwhile, sorry to interrupt, Travis just overtaken Crispy on that home straight. He's in the lead for the S's, which could be really good. Charmander going for Calm as well. He's slotting in behind Hodgson. 2 brilliant changes of position there.
Oh, that's very frustrating for Calm. He was fighting for P6 and now he's all the way back at P8, lost the position to Charmander. And Charmander's like, let me show you how you to overtake Hodgson. And he will probably have a go next, either on the next DRS straight or before that. As we can see, Hudson having troubles while accelerating out of the corner. So you can see his tires are starting to drop off.
Look
Ooh.
how close Calm is to the back of Charmander. Charmander had a really tough entry into the Degners, but managed to make it stick, managed to keep the line, and yeah, he's going to have to attack Hodgson here, or he's just going to keep getting Calm in the back. Crispy now getting accelerated away from by Trav. Only 1.5 seconds from Gaben. That could be good for later on. But yeah, Hodgson has had an increasingly difficult task over the last few laps. 11-lap-old soft tyres. They can't be good even when you consider the fact that 2 of them were under the safety car. Charmander has got the slipstream, and he was close to sending it on Calm last lap. Let's see if he does it on Hodgson. The gap is 0.3. Getting closer as we go up 130R. Zydok's just nailing fastest lap after fastest lap in the meantime. And it's not happened here, but there's still a DRS section to go. Poor second half of the Casio Triangle, but Hodge is in the box. We're going to have Crispy, the soft tyre runner, in there as well. Will Glenn follow suit? We'll find out in a few seconds as Charmander and Calm advance into P5 and P6. Glenn is in the box. All of our soft runners choosing to shed their boots as we go to the end of lap 12.
Yes, and obviously you can now go towards the end with these medium set, and you will try to maximize out of this. But I just want to say, Excitedog's putting out a fast lap after another. He's on 12 lap old medium tires, which is quite old. I mean, for mediums, not that old, but it's still impressive to put out one fastest lap after the other. And he's so far 4.5 seconds away from Gaben, so he made himself a nice gap. Well, I'll say that Calm and Charmander is still fighting. Charmander now with a disadvantage because he doesn't have a DRS anymore from Hodgson. But I think Calm doesn't have any DRS left compared to Charmander, who has, I think, a little bit more.
Yeah, Charmander with about a 9% advantage. It's mainly equal at this point. Tyres are equal. Calm has the aerodynamic advantage and will have the DRS as a result when we get to the home straight. So it's on Charmander to brake. It doesn't look like he has the raw pace to do it. They're about equal, which really promotes that they're going to start flip-flopping. And I'm just here for more of that racing. Another fastest lap for Zydox, almost breaking the 130 barrier. Charmander with a really nice break point, and Calm has just taken off some of his wing. He did exactly what Travis did to me in Season 3. He left the brake a bit too late, and some of his wing has come off. That's inadvertently good news for Charmander, who also managed to stay on track.
Yes, very, very unfortunate for Calm. He had a little bit more speed than Charmander coming into the corner, and well, ended up into the back of him. And now in Sector 1, we will probably see him drop wide sometime because it is a very aerodynamic part of the track. He managed to keep it quite close, actually. Well, maybe not that close than he did before. It will cost him time for sure.
Yeah, the good news for Calm as well is the standard pit strategy means he has one more stop, so he can use it to repair his wing. Given Suzuka and, as you said, Sector 1, it's likely that he will do that. He will use the opportunity to regenerate his wing, which means that he'll have the fastest possible soft tyre running towards the end. Downside at the moment is he probably can't keep pace for Charmander for too long. I think he'll probably have to do 2 more laps on this damaged wing to give himself 11 laps on softs, rather than maybe 13, which might push it too far.
Yes, and also his pit stop will be a slightly taking a little bit longer than the others, so he might need to regain some of the positions he might lose when it happens. But in the meantime, Travis still 1.5 seconds in front of behind Gaben. Sorry. Gaben 5 seconds off Zydox, so Zydox really having a lonely race, just all by himself dominating this one. Shadow Hopper, he's just casually driving 4th place, not bad for him, doing really, really well. No danger from behind, no one really in front, he's just having his own race, but still P4 is quite impressive, really good for him. His teammate in 8th position, also not doing that great, but doing also a really, really good job. And Franklin just pitted for first soft tires, which I feel like is a little bit early.
Yeah, I would say 1 lap early, but who am I to argue with Franklin's Jeff, or indeed his brain? He's going to be the first one to go onto the softs for the final stint. 12 laps to go. He was on softs earlier, and then because of the broken wing, had to go in for the mediums. He can now finish the race, and He's in a points position at the moment. With fresh soft tyres, normally the only way is up, especially when you consider that the top field will still have to pit. Everyone from Zydox in P1 down to Calm in P6 and also Monty in P8 is not going to be able to finish the race on these tyres, 14-lap old mediums. We're almost getting to that crossover point. We're now in a weird state of the race where no one's in anyone else's DRS zone, so we get to take a bit of stock of how the drivers are doing, what pace is being set, particularly by Zydox, and we get a bit of time to look at strategy. Hodge is really doing well in this sector too, and he's trying to get within 1 second of Monty into his DRS zone. Hasn't quite made it yet.
Yes, he's just outside of the DRS, 1.4 seconds. Meanwhile, Calm is in the pits, repairing his front wing, changing his tires, which seem to be another set of medium.
They
So
are
he's gonna
mediums.
Go for another pit stop.
He's messed up. He was going to go for a one-stop. He should have been on soft. He's absolutely messed it up.
Ooh.
He should have been on softs like Franklin was and finished the race. Because he's been on 2 sets of mediums so far, he won't be able to finish the race on this compound. He will need to box again. I'm of course excluding the possibility that he's actually got softs on. And he's spun! This is horrific! Is this the Mercedes master plan for a second safety car? It's starting to look that way as the yellow flags go across the track. But no, he's going to be slowly going around. Calm's fast pace, his big strategy, where are they? His next card is going to have to be in single digits because he's just messed up tactically, followed by an awkward error on the first corner of the race. Calm, it was fun while you were here. Rest in peace, my friend.
Yes, and that maybe showed us his frustration with the spin, how frustrated he might be, because cold tires, a little bit frustration, you don't pay enough attention to it, and you spin like that. Meanwhile, we also have the top runners, Gaben and Travis pitting. Zydox does not pit. So will be interesting to see when he pits and how much time Travis and Gaben can gain through that. I think so for Gaben took a little bit longer in the pits because he... Oh, okay. Yeah, Gaben served his 5-second penalty. That's why he took a little bit longer. Meaning Travis gained a position through that. Chamada also didn't pit, me jumping up to P2, but both of the first and second place still have to pit. We will see where they will end up. Crispy in 4th position is on 3-lap old medium, so he doesn't have to pit again. I think everyone now already pitted because Monty was the last one and he's currently on soft in the pits.
I really want to see how well Trav does out of this. He doesn't need to box again. The pit lane is generally about 25 seconds, all things told. He's got Charmander ahead of him. He's got Zydox even further ahead of him. About 27, 28 seconds is the total gap. Zydox still has to serve a 5-second penalty for the earlier collision with Gaben. I think Trav might come out racing for P1 with Zydox when the drivers ahead of him have pitted. And that's going to be fantastic going into the last few laps. The only other driver with a penalty that can be served is Maka. He's had an absolute mare of a night. He's not been able to get into Q3 earlier. He's now got that penalty. He's in P12. He will be able to finish the race on these tyres, but he will have a 5-second pen thrown on him. Certainly a 3-second pen going on to Monty as he messes up a corner cut somewhere else. Zydox is now in the pits, and there he is. He's waiting agonizingly. Finally, he's going to get the soft tyres put on. I want to see where he emerges with respect to Trav, who is going around the patio triangle and now starting to come down the home straight. Zydox were waiting for him to emerge from the exit. He is released, he gets put on the full speed, and Travis sees him. This is going to be a battle for P1 in the final 9 laps. They're right next to each other, they're on fresh softs. Zydox is not as clear as he thought he was.
Yes, and Travis now has the warm-up tires. Zydox still has the cold tires. Well, all that happened, Charmander also pitted, but he gained a 5-second for speeding in the pit lane, which is really, really unfortunate. But I'm more hyped for this now because Zydox and Travesty. Travesty inside the 1 second. Not sure how Zydox tries to go away from this. He probably will try and get outside of the DRS before the next DRS straight, which looks likely, but Travis isn't one to give up that easily in such a fight, especially not for P1. Now that Sunny isn't here, he needs every point.
Yeah, Trav currently set for 18 points, but he can get 25. It would be a shame to look at this as a missed opportunity. Calm really going for Glenn here down the Degnas. He's obviously already had an issue where he booted, I believe it was Charmander. looking for an overtake that wasn't going to happen. So Calm needs to be careful, but that is like telling a bull not to break things in a china shop. He's aggressive, he's going hard but fair, Nando Loris moment. And he looks like he might be able to force a move down the outside in the approach to Spoon, as Glenn has to get that apex there. Calm may still be able to do something here, but he didn't make it stick then. Calm is able to make any move on any corner. He might still try it on 130R. He's in every opponent's head. Glenn still holding primacy at the moment, and Glenn is going to send it around 130R, maintaining the lead into Casio Triangle.
Yes, next on is the straight line with DRS. He will probably make the move there. Gets a nice exit out of... Oh, that's a little bit of a correction. That cost him a little bit of time. But I think it's still enough to make that overtake. He's doing it on the inside. Yes, and it's think a sell deal. Yes. And with that, he's P9. But that doesn't say much because he still has to pit sadly one more time. And it's just a matter of time when he will do it.
To be honest, Sandra, I'd forgotten that. I forgot that he had to pit, and I'd forgotten that he made like the worst tactical move of the race, even behind Hodgson, which is saying something. But yeah, it makes all of his on-track antics look a bit yikes. It's worth saying that Calm had a really bad performance on F1 2021, the newest game as I speak, but he was able to win loads of races on 19 and 20, so I was really hyped to see him fight and overtake. But then, obviously, he needs to get his racecraft back in, or he needs to get his Jeff to respond to his soft tyre selections. Again, our driver's a bit sort of spaced out. Glenn looking to get back at Calm, doesn't look like he has the pace, but pit strategy will do it for him.
Yes, and while that's going, Sadok's already gone from Travesty 1.4 seconds. Not sure if Travesty's just managing tires towards the later stages of the race. Or if Sadok just has so much more pace over Travesty, but we will probably see that. But one guy that probably is out of this fight if nothing changes is Gaben, because he looked fast at the start, but sadly he still has another penalty and is currently 5 seconds off Travesty. So if nothing happens, not a miracle happens, he will probably not be fighting for P1 or P2 at this stage.
Yeah, it's quite fortunate for Gaben that Crispy behind him has the pen, otherwise Crispy would be in net P3. Yeah, Gaben showed a lot of promise. It looks like he's sort of fallen off a bit in terms of pace, whereas Trav has only gotten angrier and more proficient as time's gone on. But that is a great disservice to Zydox, who has set him at so many fastest laps and has managed to outpace Trav's Angie mode, which takes some doing. I've only done it once, and it was the luckiest race of my life. In the meantime, Shadowhopper, Hodgson, Charmander, and Franklin make up a lot of the intermediate positions in the race. Fairly penalty heavy. Obviously, Charmander still has the 5 second for speeding in the pit lane. Let's have a quick look at Calm here, because he went past Glenn a couple laps ago. He's now facing down Franklin on the approach into Spoon Curve. He made a move to get on the inside of Glenn here a few laps ago. He's not going to do it here. Franklin's going pretty consistently and pretty quickly, but Calm's probably going to do it on the next straight.
Yes, and Franklin on the soft tires. Having a good race actually. 5 gain positions, same with Charmander, both of them having a good race. Obviously they wanna do gain more positions while Crispy is pitting. For I don't know what reason exactly. Because I feel like he already did his mandatory pit stop. But it looks like he pitted for soft tire. Yes, soft tire. Maybe trying to snatch the fastest lap time. He's just coming out behind Franklin, Calm, and it looked like Glenn as well. No, he just stayed in front of Glenn. But yeah, and Franklin has Calm behind him, and that apparently gets to his head because he just got a 3-second penalty for track limits, which is unfortunate.
I'm really surprised at Crispy's move there, because he could have done it on one stop, or at least I think he could. It wasn't a wing repair move. There wasn't a wing repair in that second pit stop. He started on softs, went for the mediums, he could have finished, but chose to go back onto the softs. So, trying to second guess what Crispy's done, I think he's seen the tyre life. I don't think he reckons he can make it to the end of the race on those medium tyres. I think he's quite a heavy user of tyre wear, so he is going to guarantee the finish on those softs. It's not worth the fastest lap at this point, because he's just lost arguably 4 or 5 positions in order to do it, for a potential 1 point. But yeah, it really sucks for Calm and Crispy here, who maybe haven't played things as tactically. Contact here between Hodge and Charmander,
And
and Hodgson is retiring from the race. 22 laps gone. A virtual safety car has been called out, not the full safety car. And I didn't catch the full incident, but there was contact between Charmander and Hodgson towards the end of the lap. Guess where, Sandro? 130R.
yes, that is exactly what I expected to happen. The one on the inside misjudges it, or the one on the outside doesn't give him enough space, and then you just spin into the wall. And it's really unfortunate that it happened to Hodgson, but it just showed exactly what might happen. And I mean, somebody had to conceive that position or give him more room, and sadly, it just ended in this way. Everyone pitting so far, I think Franklin pitted, Calm pitted for soft as well. That really helped Calm now because he just got another pit stop, which he didn't need to have, but because of his messed up strategy now got. And there's another green flag, so it's just a gift from the safety car from the game.
Yeah, Hodge has been battling with Com the whole time. After respecting Com's driving, I think Hodge decided to give him a favour there. Let him pit onto that soft tyre compound for the final run-in. Just kidding, Hodge had a really bad incident with Charmander. I'm sure we'll see that replayed 6 ways from Sunday when we come to Stewards reviews. But there was contact, it was on 130R, and it led to Hodgson's retirement from a tyre detaching. Terminal damage to the car chassis. Com now chasing down Franklin, and this is actually for points. Franklin does have a 3-second penalty, so Calm is technically already ahead. But that won't do for Calm. He sent it on the hairpin. You love to see it. Calm can't move across to the left to defend here, but he is able to get enough speed from the exit from the hairpin. He moves now, and Franklin is going to be down the outside. This is going to be fantastic going into the spoon curve. Calm is going to have position, and Franklin not able to defend on that one. Well played, Calm.
Yes, and that was what I expected from Calm. He's the one that just sends it when he sees an opportunity, and he did it here. He's on a faster tire. Not really. I lied. He's on the same tire as Franklin, but now on the softs he can really show his pace, especially now that it's just a 5-pepper. So he tries to make as many positions as possible. There's a 13-second gap to Maka, but if anybody can do it, it's Calm that can do it.
Now, it's worth saying as an aside, Zydox has never won a VLF1 race. He's 5 laps away from getting his first win on the board.
Oh, meanwhile, Franklin fighting Calm for it again. He's like not having it. I love it. Yes, Franklin, let him fight for it, the first point, for 1 point. Even though it doesn't matter that because Franklin has a 3-second gap, it matters on the track where you finish, because then you can show the other driver, I technically was in front of you, it's just the penalty that got me. And
oh, he's still going ahead. He's doing some grass cutting. I don't think there's enough space on track. There's contact between the two drivers on the Degners. This is getting ugly. And Franklin still appears to have all his end plates. But he's not letting up here. He doesn't like the way Calm did him on the hairpin. He might try and do it again. This is not over. I completely agree with your sentiment, Pyro. I'd love to see the hard racing here. And Calm is not quite away from him yet. Franklin's not going to try and go from on the spoon, but maybe try and go for the exit. Or is he? He's come down the inside here. He might try and outbrake Calm. He's doing it on the spoon. Calm can't actually get onto the track well enough. He's had to reposition. Franklin has just overtaken Calm on spoon curve on Suzuka. This is not a drill. And he takes the lead going towards 130R with 3.5 laps to go. Calm looking to go down the inside at the same corner. Wisely backs off. Casio triangle beckons. Calm had an issue with outbraking earlier. Is he going to send it? He isn't, and Franklin might have the exit here. Calm really struggled with getting his car around to the right. I don't know if the RS will help him here. It's looking that way, Pyro.
yes, and I love this. Even, like I said, Franklin will lose out in the end, but I love this. Let him fight for that 1 point. He's not getting away with it. Franklin shows what he's made of, and even if it's Calm, Franklin says, nah, mate, I as well can get in front of you, and I will make you fight for it. And Calm got in front of him because of DRS again, but Frankie is still very, very close. And we've seen already, Frankie doesn't care if there's DRS or not, he will just send it when there's an opportunity to it. And Calm's car doesn't look that stable for some reason right now.
Yeah, big wobble. Calm's having a few issues. He looks like he has complete wings, but his previous mastery of the S's appears to have gone to the low, because Franklin is just able to make up that delta. Franklin is on equal pace terms with Calm, and I love how that sentence sounds in my head. Franklin is going to go for Calm again on the spoon, 2.5 laps to go. A lot of the positions up front are mostly settled, but Calm again going onto the grass. He's kicking up smoke. This is not peak Calm, but Franklin won't care. He's just got to beat what's in front of him. He's going to get a fairly good exit, but it's on par with Calm's. The slipstream is real. This is going to be close for 130R.
Oh.
Calm is going to put down all the ERS he can, and is just going to maintain the lead for now.
Oh my god, that sounds like they're fighting for P1. It's just for 1 point, but Calm just lets him go, probably because of the DRS, the detection zone. It was just before that. And Franklin currently in front. We will see if Calm or Franklin got the DRS. It looks like Calm got it just because, yeah, he just let him go by before the DRS detection zone. Calm is gonna get back to him, and that is another P11 for Franklin. But I mean, Franklin, just wait a little bit. You know what Calm is gonna do. I love this. It's just for 1 point, but who even cares at this point? I love this. I wanna see more of this. And who would have thought Franklin and Calm? Dude, if you said it at the start of the race, I would be saying, are you mental? Franklin and Calm? No way in hell.
Do you want to hear something spicy as well?
Yes, always.
Calm's on 2 warnings. 1 more corner cut and he gets to 3 seconds.
Oh, yes!
This could be glorious. So for those who are unaware, if you cut the track 3 times, you get a 3-second penalty. Franklin has 1 such penalty. Calm doesn't, but 1 more corner cut will get him there. They're now racing side by side out of the hairpin. Franklin, brilliant exit, comes up to the spoon curve. Franklin's going to have the outside and is going to overtake Calm there. He's going to have a brilliant entrance to the spoon curve. Can he get the second apex? That's actually a really good corner from Franklin. He's going to get the sausage curb on the way out. And he's actually going to stay clear of Calm going into 130R.
Oh, I love this! Yes! And Calm has to fight again now. There's another DRS zone. Let's see if Franklin can put up a good enough gap to stay ahead. We will see the exits of these 2 corners. It looks really, really good from both of them, but Calm is too close. The DRS will make the move easier for him again.
Yeah, Calm actually had peak Casio triangle there. Let's keep an eye on this one for now. There was nearly contact between the 2 cars, and Franklin is going to be on the outside for now. Keeps control of his car. I like his style. He's behind Calm again as we enter lap 26. Meanwhile, further up the grid, Monty is currently in P8. He has a penalty, so he's still got some room for Glenn in P7, but he is about to be battling Glenn on track as they go to the spoon curve. As Zydox starts his final lap, this could be 1 lap away from Zydox getting his first win on the board and being the 16th driver to win a race in VLF1 in 106 races. Nothing can really stop him apart from himself.
And he did it with the fastest lap so far. The last lap was his fastest lap, so he will not only take 25 points, he will take 26 points. And at the moment, Franklin is really close, really, really close again towards Calm. Maybe this time around he will stay a little bit closer. I hope he will stay behind Calm so that the next DRS zone he will be right there.
Well, Monty giving Glenn a little bit of a doot on the home straight as well, or at least the entry to it. So that's good news for Glenn, who as well doesn't have a penalty. He's just chilling all the way up there. Can't get crispy ahead in P6. He looks to have sorted this one out behind him.
Calm just brake checked Franklin! Oh no! This is terrible! Franklin now without a front wing, or like parts of his front wing broken. Calm obviously wanted to be behind him on the DRS checkpoint, so he gets the DRS. Franklin didn't expect this and just went inside Calm's car, and this has just gone from bad to worse.
This could be the most acrimonious stuff I've ever heard, particularly considering that, Pyro, you're the McLaren captain, so you'll be looking to throw the full book at Calm here. Checkered flag here. Zydox is the 16th driver to win a Grand Prix. 16th unique driver. Props to him, and to be honest, he deserved it earlier than this. He's been lighting up the track. Denies Travis a win, which is much needed in the chase against Sonny, who's leading the Drivers' Championship. You can't take anything away from Zydox, who wins in Williams colours, so that's something for Blaze to smile about. Calm and Franklin still battling. Rest of the positions so far, Trav and Gaben going to be on the podium here. Shadowhopper P4, Charmander P5 in Japan, which is a track that he loves really well. Crystal for P6, and that is going to be a crash between Franklin and Calm on the hairpin. Both of them, I think, almost sportsman-like, giving it to each other. That's a DNF for Maka on the last corner.
No,
He's got his car in with 1 corner to go, which means that Franklin and Calm
get points.
they both get points. And I don't know if Calm's going to be the sportsman-like driver here because of the brake check and give Franklin the 2 points here. Maka, what are you doing? I don't think you're even fighting anyone. And he's just done his corn on the last corner. You hate to see it. And
I think it's the exit where there used to be a bump where you could lose your car, and it seemed like it happened to Maka. But Franklin and Khan get both 1 point. Oh my god, the car's in the middle of the track. Okay, that's fine.
Calm is going to be the bigger person here. He's going to wait 3 seconds and advance Franklin into P9. So I think that's probably a result of the brake check that he feels he did. I'm just calling it a brake check. I didn't see the incident, but yeah, Calm being a real stand-up sportsman-like guy, you love to see it. Franklin gets points, Calm gets points, everyone's happy, unless you're Maka, who DNF'd on the last corner, just like Hodgson nearly did on his win in the German Grand Prix in Season 1. Big callback. Charmander, driver of the day.
Yes. Oh my god, I love this. And towards the end, really, really unfortunate for Maka. Don't really know what happened there. Sadly, we didn't catch it. But yeah, really lovely race for Psydox. He had Travis behind him. Travis is not an easy one to deal with, but Psydox still kept his cool and got his first victory in real F1 in Japan 2022. Really, really impressive.
You absolutely love to see it. He's the 7th unique winner this season. Sonny has won nearly all of the races. He's been incredibly dominant, but you've got to love it when a new driver breaks into that pool of winning drivers. And Zydox is definitely deserving. He's sat on the other steps of the podium, I think 5 or 6 times in total. So yeah, when he gets that top step, it's not luck. He deserves it. He has the pace, and he's made it happen. Bad news, unfortunately, for Travis, who didn't need a win, but he needed any points he could get with the absence of Sonny. If the 18 points stands, then he'll reduce the gap at the top of the Drivers' Championship to 42 with 5 races to go. It's catchable, but Sonny on his form and when he's here, he's very, very good. He's won, I think, 11 races this season, and it would take a pretty courageous guy to bet against him. Travis done well. Can't take anything away from Zydox. Crispy and Gaben coming up trumps pretty well in the end as well. But yeah, absolutely chaotic moments from Maka DNFing at the last moment, and then Calm and Franklin racing for the back half of the race. Pyro, looking at the standings, anyone else really surprising you? Maybe Shadow in 4th?
Yeah, no. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Shadow just had a race on its own. He was sadly a little bit unnoticed from us as well, because he just had a race by himself and didn't really battle anyone, just drove really, really well, and that got him the P4, which is, I think, the maximum you could have gotten out of here, because you got Gabe and Travis and Zydox in front of you, who are just way quicker driver than Shadow Hopper could be. But a P4 is still very, very good, and he got unnoticed, but very deserved P4 from P6, I feel like. Charmander as well from P12 up to P5. Got him driver of the day. Really applaud him for that. Maybe will come a penalty, because I don't know what will happen between what the stewards will decide with the incident between him and Hodgson. That happened a couple of laps beforehand. But as the race result for now is P5, it's really impressive that he recovered that.
Yeah, I've got no idea if it was just an unfortunate incident or if Alex put on his racing gloves and decided to kill a man today. But yeah, it's well, I'm sure we'll have that decided with the stewards. Glenn has been operating that steward review system for the last few weeks. It's been going very well. So in a day's time, we'll know all of the appeals. In a few days' time, we'll know all of the results from the stewards and all of the penalties. But yeah, some fantastic results, particularly for Zydox. I can't iterate enough how thrilled I am that he's on the board of unique winners. He joins the Exalted company of 15 drivers, myself included, Hio, and he's the 7th unique winner this season, which means that we're tied with Season 2 for the most unique winners, despite Sonny absolutely dispatching people in 11 races. So the unique winners this season, Sonny, Charmander, Maka, Travis, Gabe and Miffy, and now Zydox. A lot of drivers up there. So yeah, it's been fantastic. Sandra, I've really enjoyed casting with you, as always. A shout out to Stillben, because he can't shout himself. He's going to be shouting some incomprehensible weeby Japanese in the background. And for that exact reason, I'm going to hand it over to you to close the stream, Pyro.
As always, same for me. It was lovely to cast with you. Thank you again, Stuban, for the lovely production as well from my side. And sadly, not a lot of weep jokes today, but maybe next time. Who knows? Thank you for everyone for watching, and we will see you next week, I assume.
ライトン君の影を照らしてライトン君の姿探すのライトン繋いだ電話ほどけてライトン